Here is why therapy is not detrimental to your professional performance or to your balance in life, but can actually be hugely beneficial in all of those areas. Hi, and welcome to Therapy Matters, where we discuss all of the things that have to do with the mind, because what happens inside your mind really does matter. So I wanted to do this video because there are a lot of people who, if asked, would be able to swiftly name a few benefits of therapy and so on, but are still really reluctant into seeing a therapist. And that is because they have this fear, and it's not always all that apparent even to them, that therapy is actually going to poke the bear, and that if they were to go to therapy and if they were to see a therapist, then all of the balance that they have achieved would go down the drain. Their entire life would crumble. Okay, so it's this idea of if it's not broke, why fix it? Okay, so it's the idea that yes, I know I have some things going on or some things that are bothering me, but as long as I just keep moving forward, then everything will be fine. And there's a couple of things not entirely correct with that point of view, but I can see where someone would be coming from in thinking this. However, therapy isn't there to poke the bear. It is there for you to not fear the bear anymore. So you constantly running away from some things, from some issues, from some thoughts, from some situations, isn't really going to help fix the problem. Whereas facing the problem and finding adequate ways of dealing with it will, in fact, improve the situation tremendously over the long run. Now, what happens for most people is that, like I said, they keep running away from all sorts of issues, or all sorts of things that have been going on in their lives, and then at a certain point they are faced with some sort of crisis, like we call them in therapy. So a crisis meaning something that would bother the person in a very obvious and acute kind of way. It generally has to do with a life crisis or a situation, or a specific situation. Okay, so a crisis on a professional level would constitute losing your job. A crisis on the relationships level would constitute your partner asking for a divorce. A crisis in the parenting area would constitute your child having some sort of behavior problem or other things like that, and so on and so forth. So you could have a crisis in any of those areas of your life. And unfortunately, sometimes you can have multiple crises at the same time. So you could be losing your job, your partner also wants a divorce, and there's also something going on with your kid, or any number of combinations. The problem is that when you are faced with that crisis or those crises, your ability to contemplate things and to really think things through and really get to the bottom of things is greatly diminished. In a crisis, there's not so much time to be thinking deeply about issues. The time to do that is before a crisis has emerged. So the approach most people take when it comes to therapy is, well, that is if they aren't completely against therapy. And okay, I'm not talking about those people. If you are totally against therapy, you think therapists are just charlatans or just highly educated idiots, then okay, nothing I'm going to say is going to convince you of the contrary. But let's say that you're not in that category of being completely opposed to therapy. You understand the benefits, but you're telling yourself that yes, okay, if a crisis should hit, then I know who to go to. But that's, like I said, that's not the ideal time to be seeking that sort of deeper insight into your life. The ideal moment to do that is outside of an ongoing crisis. Simply because when you are going through something, a crisis or some sort of difficult situation, your resources, including your mental resources, are naturally and obviously geared towards solving that particular situation, that particular crisis. It's not the time to be looking deeply at issues and talking about approaching a situation from multiple angles and building up all sorts of abilities, like, for instance, resilience or a greater capacity to tolerate stress or uncertainty. Things that, when developed properly, are really useful tools to have in your arsenal if a crisis should emerge at some point. And you're not going to be inclined to do that, and you might not even have the time or the energy to do that when you are going through a crisis. So the best time to work on yourself, to work on developing your abilities, to increasing your capacity of handling problems, is when everything is calm and when everything seems to go well for you, and when there is no pressing matter to attend to. When there are pressing matters to attend to, all of those resources get redirected into solving that particular problem. So that's why therapy isn't going into therapy when everything is okay, isn't going to poke the bear. It's actually going to equip you with the tools needed to fight off the bear when that would eventually happen. Okay, so I'm not saying that yes, the crisis will hit and you will need those resources to be at your disposal. I cannot predict that a crisis will eventually happen, but from a reasonable point of view, a crisis eventually happens to all of us. So it's not unreasonable to expect that to happen to you as well. So I'm not trying to make you become afraid of that. I'm just saying that on a long enough time frame, it's almost impossible for nothing resembling a crisis to happen. Okay? So, if you want to book a call with me, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the first comment, depending on where you're seeing this. Either way, if you like this video and you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the notification bell. And if you know anyone who might benefit from this message, please do me a favor and share this video with them, so we can spread the message as much as we can. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.